What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Mystery Tackle Box YouTube channel. My name's Jordan. I'm from the channel TightLineTV, and today we're going to be fishing with some new baits from the Googan Squad. Got one. That was cool. Alright, I'm throwing you guys on the tripod. Not really the best backdrop, but it'll do. So, the Googan Squad has dropped some new goodies for you guys. We have a mini filthy frog and a mini zinger. Mini versions of their spinnerbait and their frog, and I couldn't be more pumped about it. For those of you who don't know, having miniature versions of baits can be a huge benefit, especially if you're a big pond fisherman, you like to fish, small creeks or rivers. These baits in the dog days of summer are really gonna catch you some fish. So what we're gonna be doing today is we're gonna be taking these two new baits, we're gonna go pond hop, and we're gonna try and catch some fish on them. We're gonna take the zinger to a pond that I've never fished before and see if we can get on a bite. And then we're gonna take the frog to a really good frogging spot and see if the fish will just eat it up. So before we go fishing, let's talk about these baits real quick, just a little bit, what I'm gonna be throwing them on, and then we're gonna go catch some fish on them. So this is the same old filthy frog, just in a miniature version. It's now in a 2-inch and a 3/8 ounce. Still the same old filthy frog, just a miniature version. Nothing has really changed. Another great thing this frog is gonna be used for is for just those guys who like to fish top water on a spinning rod. This is gonna be a great frog for those scenarios where you guys are just fishing ponds, you're fishing really light cover, you want to be a little more finesse, and even those guys who like to fish in creeks and rivers and stuff like that. This is going to be a great frog for you. Plus, some of these ponds that you guys fish, those bass are going to be keyed in on smaller bait fish, and something like this is really going to get them going. So I have a medium heavy spinning setup here. I got 20-pound braid, and we're going to take this guy to the pond and try and catch some fish on it. And then we got the mini zinger. Same old zinger, still has the mustad hook. We still got a hook keeper on there. You got your line saver right there. Literally the exact same bait, just downsized. Spinner baits are one of my favorite baits to fish. But again, in those situations where those bass are keying in on smaller bait fish, this is going to be your go-to. It's going to allow us to cover a lot of water and get on a really good bite. So there's a quick overview on these two new products coming at you from the Googan Squad. Let's take these guys out to the pond and see if we can catch some fish on them. I've never fished this pond before, but it looks ideal for these types of baits. The perfect situation for these two baits right here is kind of like what I'm dealing with, right? It's about 90 degrees outside. It's the dog days of summer. We have a little pond here, so we're downsizing a little bit. Downsizing in the hot weather helps a lot because sometimes these fish get sluggish. They don't necessarily want to go out of their way to eat something large. That's not always the case, but then even sometimes the forage in the lake might just be smaller. You might have a lot of small bait fish and things like that roaming around in the ecosystem, so downsizing might actually motivate these fish to eat a little more. So I've never fished this body of water. It looks pretty shallow, but I think it's going to be a great place to try and throw this spinnerbait and this frog. I see a lot of movement in the water, but I haven't quite seen any bass. Just a lot of like fresh fry, it looks like. I don't know if they're baby bluegills. I don't know if they're bass. It being post-spawn, there's could be a little bit of both. There's a lot of nice little weed patches over here too, so I think that frog is gonna come in handy. But it is hot out. Oh, there's a fish right there. Oh yeah, there we go. All right, boom, sweet. Mini zinger just got smacked right outside those weeds. Not a big guy. Hopefully there's some bigger ones in here, but he crushed that zinger, sweet. Well, we can confirm that there are bass in here, so I'm just gonna keep on rolling this around. It might drop off a little bit deeper further out on the shore. Maybe I'm just in a shallow spot right here. It's a good sign, it's a good sign. Oh, I just got a follower right there. That was stupid. About the same size as the other one. He swam right in after it and missed it. They're definitely in here. He's got him. Oh, he just missed it again. You see that? I might have stung him. There he's behind it. Come on. It's like a musky fishing over here. What the heck? He bit it, but got him. That one feels better than the last one. Oh, did he pop off or is he in there? Oh, he's in there. I was like, do I have weeds for a second? Look at that. Bada bing, bada boom. Look at that, little guy. Pound largie though. There's one. Little guy. Not ideal, but we're learning here, guys. If you guys are just getting out and you want to catch some fish, sometimes the bass are just smaller in your area. Look at that. Creamed it. Unintentionally just got a bass to blow up on a spinnerbait on top of that weed patch. I'm gonna go ahead and wing that filthy frog right in there. I have a feeling they'll probably come up and smack this thing. I literally just unintentionally like casted it upon a weed patch. Oh, he blew up on it. I was right. He missed it though. Try and throw it along the shoreline. Oh, that's on land. Little land exit. Not the best cast, but there's fish chasing these bluegills up on the shoreline. So I don't see why they wouldn't just annihilate a frog. We're gonna make it happen. Right there. Oh, come on. I know they'd come up and eat it on that shoreline. I've been getting a couple bites. I haven't got a fish to stick just yet. I think just because the fish are small, but I can fish a lot of these isolated weed patches that are scattered across this pond, but when that gets slow, I can cover a lot of the shoreline with the Zinger. So I'm gonna pick this guy back up, and I just fished this shoreline pretty darn hard with that frog. Nothing blew up on it, but I can almost guarantee you, if I wing a spinnerbait down it, it might get bit. Just because you didn't get blown up doesn't mean the fish aren't there. They just might be keyed in on a different bait. So always good to mix things up, throw a couple different options in there before you move on. Told you. Oh, there we go. I told you, I felt good about that cast. This might be the best one of the day. Still not the caliber bass I'm looking for, but it's a bass, definitely the biggest one of the day. Oh, well, he's gonna just self-exit, I guess. Yeah, okay. All right, buddy, see you later. See, I told you guys, don't overlook it. Just because he didn't blow up on the frog, throw something else in there. If they're not getting fired up on this, there's a good chance they'll hit something like this. So, and if both these didn't work, if I had one with me, I'd probably throw like a stick bait, like a 𝗙𝗶𝗹𝗶 or a worm. Little ponds like this, that's how you get them to bite. We're gonna make a move, try and find some better caliber fish and a place where we can get a real frog bite on this mini filthy frog. Alrighty, so we switched locations. This looks a bit more frog friendly. Hopefully we don't get any ticks on our legs. The ticks have been real bad this year, and I'm in Crocs, so poison ivy's gonna love me. But if you were gonna look for a place to fish a frog, gosh darn it, I bet you this is the place. So there's some thick lilies here, not the most ideal situation for a spinning rod, but the purpose of having a nice small frog like this is for those guys who like to fish top water on spinning rods, or for those kids who just haven't learned how to use a bait caster yet and they can't get out there and fish a heavier frog with a frog setup. So this should be fine. We should be able to catch some fish. So we're gonna focus on fishing the open areas around these lily pads like I'm fishing right here in front of me. This is going to allow us to have a better hookup ratio when it comes to setting the hook on some of these fish, considering there's just so many lily pads in here. But this is also a great opportunity to fish a small frog. You could use a bait caster if you wanted to. Ideally, like a spinning setup is gonna allow you to accurately fish this, but if you guys notice how tight these lily pads are, I'm gonna be able to get this frog inside those little pockets, and that's gonna be awesome. So I'm just gonna kind of move fast across some of these, and I'm gonna stop in those open areas, hopefully get a blow up. Oh, I just missed one right there. Got that one. I got him. Some past, it seems like. There we go. Better than the last pond, I'll tell you that. Just got to get him to move through those lily pads. You'll be good to go. All right. Boom. He crushed that thing. All right, we're getting a little bit better. Not huge, but we are getting better. Got one. That was cool. There we go. That's a better fish. Look at that. That's a different kind of eat you see out of the frog. Upside down in the bottom part of the mouth. Oh, that's a good 2-pounder right there. Feisty. Look at that. Oh, he just destroyed that frog. There we go. It's a little bit better. A little bit better for a pond bass. This right here is a perfect scenario for this frog. Like, very hard to reach area, very thin, tight shoreline. If you guys can get inside those lily pads, try and throw that frog on top of those lilies and just walk it right outside. Like that, boom. Just nailed it. It's so fun. As long as you can stay on those clear ends, you should have no problem getting those bass out of those lily pads. Now, if you were fishing really, really thick in this stuff, I know, again, guys, this isn't ideal. Typically, you want to fish with like a heavy-duty frog setup. Didn't know this pond was going to be this heavily weeded over, or I should say lilied over, but we're doing just fine. Look at that. Nice. Just stay along that grass line, stay tight to shore, make those far casts down that shoreline, and they'll eat this thing up. But you notice how easily I'm getting a better hookup ratio with these smaller bass. If I were fishing a full-size frog, I bet you I'd be missing a lot of these fish. Now, I know I missed a few at the other pond, but I mean, those bass were small. They were really small, so let's see if I can keep it going. Got him. I knew it. Boom. Ouch. I almost got a frog in my finger. That was fun. Look at that. Little frog, little fish. Boom. I got some deer over there eating some trees. We're about to have a fish eating my frog. Like that. Oh, he missed it. Oh, that was a good blow up right there. Dang. I said it a little too early. Sometimes you just get freaked out. You know, sometimes that fish just comes in hot and you just don't know what to do. It's hard to be patient and wait. I'm gonna try and get him again. There it is. Gotta give it a little bit of a pause. So much fun. And this is exactly what this frog is made for, guys. These small ponds, these hard to reach areas, you know, when you're just trying to get on a fun bass bite, sometimes throwing that little frog, especially in the, like I said, guys, the dog days of summer, sometimes you're not going to get little bass like this to key in on a big frog. So just throw something like this, you'll be golden. Boom. Oh, you guys see that? That was unintentional. Think I'll come back and get it? If I wasn't reeling it in like crazy, that's what I mean. Sometimes the things that happen, it's always when you're least, there we go, I got him. Well, Shamu over here. Stealth mode. All right, good news, he wasn't giant. But what are the odds he does it again? I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it, but. That one, you couldn't even tell it hit it. I had to watch it. Sometimes they just so slightly eat it. There we go. Boom, it's so fun. Nothing better than a frog bite to me, honestly. Nothing better. Thank you, buddy. Let you go back. I'm all wrapped up in my GoPro cord over here. All right, I think we're gonna wrap things up here. Didn't quite get that last frog bass I was looking for to end the day on, but that's okay. What I wanted to do was come out here, really test out the mini filthy frog, get it in a scenario where I could catch some fish on top water, and that's exactly what we did. The first pond wasn't quite it, and then we came to this one. Not the most ideal situation for, you know, kind of what I'm showing you guys, but that's all right. I really just wanted to get some frog fish tonight. Frog fishing is one of my favorite things to do. It has to be like one of my top 3 baits that I like to fish. So we got out here, we got it done. So I think that's how we're gonna have to end the day. And we're back at the house. We fished 2 ponds, nothing too crazy, but I'm actually happy about the outcome. So the first pond, the Zinger, we fished it a lot. I caught all my fish on the Zinger. I couldn't get the fish to quite commit to the frog. The reason that I'm happy that I went there with the Zinger was for the sole purpose that sometimes you go to ponds where you got stunted bass, there's not real big guys in there, and it's hard to get them to stick. Throwing that small spinnerbait was key to catch fish in that pond. Everywhere along the shoreline, I was seeing bluegill fry getting chased by bass. So throwing that spinnerbait copied that forage, you know, those schools of bait fish, and those bass were just creaming it. So unfortunately, I don't think there's just a big or good population of bass in there, but it is what it is. Then we moved on to the second pond. It had way more lily pads than I even imagined, but it was a perfect evening topwater bite. Keying in on smaller baits can really benefit you. So overall, we had a fun day, so I can't complain. If you guys are interested in picking up a mini zinger or a mini filthy frog, just hit the link in the description down below. Check them out. Other than that, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me here on the Mystery Tackle Box YouTube channel, and I'll catch you next time.